Hello and welcome to Brimwood Farm, and today we are planning for the flowers of 2019 by sowing some nice hardy annuals and a few biennials too. So we tend to think of autumn as a time of decay. Leaves are coming down, herbaceous plants are starting to recede into the soil, and we're bringing in those non-frost hardy plants and giving them a bit of protection. But it's also the time of planning for the following season, and you only have to think of bulb planting for that. So often in autumn and even into early winter, so December time, we're planting bulbs, tulips, daffodils, alliums and things for our spring garden. So we are already thinking about next year. Now you can put loads of little biennials and a few hardy annuals in at this time too. For those hardy annuals, it means that you're going to get early spring flowers, and for the biennials, it means that they're going to start growing now, and though they'll need a little bit of protection over the winter, come next year, they're technically in their second year. Now it doesn't always work, and if you plant them quite late, as I am doing in September, we may not get flowers from everything, but we'll get flowers from a few, and they'll just get a nice little rig along. So but come spring, we've got nice healthy plants ready to put outside. So I've got 4 flower types I'm putting in today, so let's go. So here I have a lovely little tray of rose campion, and these are biennials to short-lived perennials, and these were planted earlier this year, and they will flower next year. And so this is a tray of 40. We haven't quite got everything, so there's about 30 plants here, and they're really nice to touch. They're a great silver-leaved plant which does well therefore in drought and often a little bit of shade as well. So that's what we're aiming to do, is make these trays of short-lived perennials, hardy annuals, biennials that next year we can pop into the garden and make quite a nice display. So that is what we've already got going, and these are what we're doing today. So I've got 4 trays and I've got 4 different seeds. So we've got Nicotiana, we've got red Snapdragon, and we've got hollyhocks, and then we've got some Aquilegia, also known as lady's bonnet, and also Columbine flowers if you're over in America. And these were gifted to me by a neighbour, which is why they're in a plastic bag. Normally you would store them in a paper bag or a paper envelope. So let's get sowing some of these little seeds that are going to make us some wonderful flowers next year. So first up for the biennials, or short-lived perennials even, are these hollyhocks, and they come in these fantastic little seed pods. And then you break them open, and here are all the seeds. So each one of these is a seed. So you can see that actually one seed pod has a lot of seeds in. And these little tiny seeds are where they've actually broken out of their cases. So we'll be putting these, now these are very tall, architectural. They're a very country cottage garden. And I like them because they add a lot of height and a lot of drama to the garden. And as I say, they're not always biennial either. Get a good hollyhock in the right place and it can actually be a short-lived perennial, and it will flower year on year for a few years and give you tons more seeds. So we're going to be sowing one of those. Pop that in there. So that's obviously the hollyhocks. The next ones are these Aquilegia. Now I love Aquilegia, also known as Columbine, Our Lady's Bonnet. Now the bog standard one is just kind of a purpley one, and these are our lovely little seed pods, which you might recognise. They kind of have these little frondy tips. And then obviously the seeds, what happens is when these dry out, the seeds shoot out of here. And the seeds are minuscule. So the seeds are actually already in this bag. So let me just see if I can just get a couple. Here we go. So here are our seeds. Nice tiny little black seeds, and again these are biennial but also short-lived perennials. They will seed themselves in your garden very easily. The one thing I will say about these is that if you buy special varieties and breed types, they will intermix with your other bog standard ones, and I find that over time they will revert back to kind of their wild type. So if you're having special varieties that you're buying in packets, be aware that over the couple of years they'll probably fade out and you'll end up with kind of just a bog standard purpley whitish one again in your garden. But you can just go and buy some more seeds, or even more exciting, you can actually make your own crosses relatively easy, because as I say, they do cross very well, producing lots of seeds. So that's our second. Our third is Nicotiana. Now you can see that actually I collected these from my own seeds in 2007. Now Nicotiana, again, they're kind of an annual, but I've lasted mine 2 or 3 years, depending on the weather. And this final year was the write-off, because we had such a bad winter in terms of snow. So any slightly tender plants I had died. Now you can see with this, the seeds are minuscule. So all these little tiny brown patches, they are our seeds. Again, lots and lots of seeds per seed pod, so you can only collect a few of them and you will have plenty of seeds for years and years to come. And then finally, red snapdragons, and these are a true annual, and you'll normally be thinking about putting snapdragons into the soil in the spring. However, again, these are a hardy annual, so although they need a bit of protection over the winter, so your young plants will need to go into greenhouse or a little cold frame just to get protected from the frost. They will start growing now, and then it means that you'll get an earlier display next year. Again, these were gifted to me by a neighbour, and you can see there are a lot of seeds in there, tons and tons and tons. And again, they're fairly small, so I have probably thousands of seeds in there. So these are going to be all really, really great for getting on the go now. I'll start them off in here, and then they'll be moved out to the greenhouse and the cold frame. So let's get sowing. So I'll keep them in the conservatory where it is relatively warm, just to get the germination process going. And then as soon as I've got little plants, I'll move them out to acclimatise them to the outside temperatures, but keep the frost and snow off them. So they'll probably go into the greenhouse and just be overwintered there, where they're safe from frost and snow, but still watered and still acclimatised to relatively cold temperatures. Then they'll grow, and then obviously next spring pop them in the garden and hopefully have tons and tons of early colour, which is all really nice. I'd love to hear what you're growing in your garden right now, what you're doing now in fall, autumn to prepare for next spring. Please tell me in the comments below, and if you've got any questions, again, just hit up the comments and I'll try and get back to you all. If you've liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, please feel free to come across to Brimwood Farm's community group and join me and many others of this community when we're talking about chickens and planting and growing and quail and all sorts of things like that. But for now, I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of the day and maybe sow a few more things. So see you next time. Bye.